Welcome back, everybody. So today I'm going to be making frijoles puercos. That is basically refried beans with tons of pork in it. Now, if you do not like eating pork or you can't eat pork, then you can opt to leave out the bacon and use beef chorizo instead of a pork-based chorizo. Problem solved. And you can still enjoy this delicious, unhealthy, maybe slightly unhealthy, but definitely delicious refried beans recipe. Goes great with chips, as a dip, in tacos, on tostadas, whatever you want to eat it with. Super good. And here's how I do it. Okay, to start, I'm going to go over the ingredients. So I'm going to be using around 4.5 cups of cooked beans with around 1 cup of the bean broth. And if you do not have home cooked beans, you can use 3 drained 15-ounce cans of store-bought pinto beans. That works. Okay, next I have a ½ pound of bacon. I also have 6 ounces of store-bought chorizo. This is pork chorizo, like I said. Skip the bacon and use beef chorizo if you don't want pork. I also have half of a small onion that I've diced. 2 fresh cloves of garlic that I finely minced. I'm also going to be using queso Chihuahua. This is around 4 ounces that I put in my food processor. And here I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of pickled jalapeño or pickled carrot juice. I might add more later. And around 2 tablespoons of diced pickled jalapeños. I want things on the milder side, so I'm using the pickled carrots and jalapeno combo, but use what you like. Okay, so to start, I am going to cook my bacon. So here I have a cold pan and I'm adding my bacon. Then I'm going to turn the heat to a medium heat and I'm going to cook it until it is golden brown and crispy and has rendered most of the fat. Okay, so my bacon is done. I'm going to remove it from the pan and separate it from the rendered fat, which I will be saving for later use. It does work great in some homemade flour tortillas, but do what you will. Okay, so once my bacon is removed from the pan, now I'm going to start cooking the chorizo. I am going to break it apart and cook it for about 5 minutes. And once it's got a good head start on cooking and broken apart, now I'm going to add my diced or minced onion and fresh garlic and continue cooking everything until the chorizo is cooked and the onions and garlic are sauteed well. So now that the chorizo, onion, and garlic are all sauteed well, I'm going to add my beans. And as I stated earlier, if you do not have homemade beans, you can use store-bought canned beans. Just make sure you drain the cans, and instead of using the bean broth or the liquid that comes in the cans, maybe opt to use a store-bought or homemade chicken broth. That definitely adds flavor. Now the beans I'm using today, I will link the recipe in the description below so you can see how I made frijoles de olla, which are perfect for something like this. So I'm going to continue to heat my cooked beans through. And if you do find that you want your beans to be runnier or with more liquid, then you can definitely add it. The texture or the end result of your beans are definitely to your preference. I like mine to be creamy and a little bit on the thicker side, but I do know some people like it to be a little more runny. So after about 5 to 7 minutes of heating the beans through, I'm going to add my chopped bacon, my 2 tablespoons of chopped pickled carrots and jalapeños. If you want more spice, just add serrano or pickled jalapeños to that. I'm also adding a 1/4 cup of the pickled jalapeno juice. I started with 2 tablespoons but added 2 more, basically a 1/4 cup. And again, a lot of the ratios of these ingredients are to your preference. That pickled jalapeno juice, you could also use olive juice. It's just a briny flavor to the beans. Now I'm going to add ½ a teaspoon of onion powder and ½ a teaspoon of garlic salt. Now, I thought I had garlic powder, but I just had garlic salt, so you can use garlic powder and a combination of salt to taste for this. Now I'm just going to give everything a good mix, and then it's time to start mashing them. I'm going just to use a masher and mash them until they are creamy and combined. So now that they are completely mashed, I am now going to add my cheese, and you definitely can use the cheese of your choice. Sometimes I use Munster or even mozzarella. It's up to you, but today I am using queso Chihuahua, and it goes perfect with these frijoles puercos. Once they are done, you can garnish with some extra cheese and maybe a dried chile árbol for a pop of color. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to slather this on a crispy tostada and add a little more cheese, and that is it. This is how good this is. It's basically a delicious bean dip. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.